Jump, how high? Mental image and meaning. Non-native speaker here. I have come across this metaphor quite often. Person X complains, admires that if a told B to jump, B would just ask how high? What is the mental image behind that? As far as I have figured out, this is supposed to mean that B is incredibly loyal to A and trusts, follows their command, blindly. In stressful scenarios, I am trying to figure out how asking how high, when being told to jump, is a signal of trust instead of stupidity. If I am in a combat scenario and someone told me to jump, because something is trying to take my feet out from beneath me, the ground is breaking apart beneath me, then it would be the height of stupidity to stand around dumbly and ask how high? Instead of just reacting. So I'm guessing that either my mental image or my interpretation of the jump, how high meaning are wrong. Which one is it?
I think you are meant to understand jump as an order to do some task for an unspecified reason, rather than a warning to take evasive action. Instead of questioning the reason, he simply asks for details of the required action.
This expression can be used in a couple of different ways. When I says jump, you ask how high? In this case, a person is telling you that he is in charge, and you must obey without question. The stereotypical example is a drill sergeant yelling something like this at a trainee who has not responded quickly enough to an order, but it's also used by obnoxious bosses or by people trying to assert authority. My personal belief is this originated as when I say jump, you jump, don't ask how high, but the how high part emerged later as a way to emphasize the need for proactive compliance. If John tells Fred to jump, Fred will ask how high. In this case, the speaker is saying that Fred is the sort of person who will quickly obey a command from John. It implies not just obedience, but an obsequious, fawning obedience, a desire to please John by going beyond what is asked. The motive for this obedience could be fear, or could be admiration. Usually this means that Fred is not only willing to obey John, but actually wants to please him by going above and beyond the original request. Fred is not just obeying the command, he's offering to jump to a specific height.
Having been in the military where, I think, this phrase originated, I think the other answers all kind of miss the point a little bit. The point of basic training in the military is to break you down and then build you up again. The breaking down involves getting rid of things that were normal in the civilian world but out of place in the military, especially for a new recruit. Thinking for yourself is high up on that list. You don't know squat about combat or anything else, and thinking for yourself is only going to get you, or, worse, someone else killed. When told to jump, you don't ask why, because you are too ignorant to even need to know why. Further, you're not even knowledgeable enough to know how high to jump, so you better ask. So asking how high is a combination of obedience and acknowledgement of your lack of expertise.
As Kate says, jump is simply an example of a task. There are 3 possible responses. You jump, follow whatever the instruction was without question. You ask how high, indicating a willingness to do it, but wanting more input. You ask why. Or you simply refuse, for, which is rather out of scope here. I've normally heard it as when person A asks you to jump, don't even ask how high. That is, just do whatever is ordered. Don't even think of possibility 3, let alone 4. Person A is not be trifled with. In your example, it's slightly different, as B won't do 3, or 4, he's always willing to do whatever A tells him. As you say, that attitude might be praised or scorned.
To supplement the previous answers, this not only implies person B's eagerness to please person A, but also is a request for clarification for what appears to be an absurd command. No one would ask this unless they had blind obedience to the requester. This expression is not specifically referring to battle conditions. It's asking person B to jump simply for person A's amusement. There's no point to it, and you literally end up back where you've started within a fraction of a second. Person B is not only willing to perform meaningless tasks, but also wants to perform that meaningless task to the satisfaction of the recreator.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.